If you've spent any amount of time around Portland recently, you've probably heard someone say, Portland used to be affordable. Maybe you heard it from your friends. Maybe you heard it from your family members. And then maybe you've said it yourself. And honestly, compared to what Portland looked like 10, 15, or even 20 years ago, they're not wrong. Home prices have gone up, the rents have gone up, property taxes have gone up, our groceries have gone up, insurance has gone up. Pretty much everything costs more than it used to. So when people ask me if Portland is still affordable, I understand exactly where that question is coming from. But here's the thing. The answer depends entirely on what you're comparing Portland to. Because if you're comparing Portland today to Portland in 2005, then yes, Portland feels dramatically more expensive. But if you're comparing Portland to Seattle, San Francisco, San Jose, Los Angeles, Orange County, San Diego, Portland starts to sound surprisingly affordable. And that's one reason people continue moving here every single year. Is Portland still affordable in 2026? We're gonna talk about what homes actually cost, what rents actually cost, what different budgets can realistically buy, and where buyers are finding value today. And also why new construction might be changing the affordability conversation, and whether Portland still makes sense compared to other major cities on the West Coast. If we haven't met before, my name is Stephen Tran. I'm a real estate broker and investor serving Oregon and Southwest Washington. I help buyers throughout Portland, Beaverton, Hillsboro, Happy Valley, Vancouver, Camas, Ridgefield, and all of the surrounding communities in Oregon and Southwest Washington. If you're thinking about moving here, or buying a home here, or investing in the region, please make sure to subscribe to my channel because I post new videos every single Monday. Let's get started. I think one of the reasons this affordability conversation gets so emotional is because people aren't comparing Portland to other cities. They're comparing Portland to the version of Portland that they remember. I actually grew up here. I was born and raised in Northeast Portland in the Cully neighborhood. And if you've lived here long enough, you've seen entire neighborhoods change. You watched areas that were once overlooked become one of the most desirable neighborhoods in the city. You've watched home values rise dramatically, and you've seen our rents increase a lot. And you've watched Portland become a destination that people from across the country actively want to move to. And that's created opportunity for some people, and it's also created challenges for others. So when long-term residents talk about affordability, they're often talking about a Portland that simply doesn't exist anymore. They're remembering a time when housing was cheaper, when neighborhoods hadn't experienced the same level of investment and growth. That's not unique to Portland. You can hear the exact same conversation in Seattle. You'll hear it in Austin, you'll hear it in Denver, you'll hear it in Nashville. Basically, you'll hear it almost everywhere that's experienced meaningful population growth. And as more people move into the region, demand increases. And as demand increases, prices tend to follow. And that's exactly what we've seen throughout the Portland metro area. Now, does that mean Portland is unaffordable? Well, not necessarily, but it does mean that we need to be realistic. Portland isn't the hidden bargain that it once was. The secret got out a long time ago. People discovered the access to nature, they discovered our amazing food scene, and also they discovered the lifestyle that they wanted to have. And they moved here. And the result is that housing became a lot more expensive. But the story doesn't end there. Because what matters isn't just whether Portland became more expensive, what matters is how Portland compares to the alternatives. Let's talk about where we actually are today, because I think a lot of people get their information from the headlines, or from social media, or from somebody they know who bought a house 15 years ago. And none of those things necessarily reflect today's market. The reality is that buying a home today requires a meaningful financial commitment. Interest rates are higher than they were during the pandemic years. Monthly payments are higher than most buyers would like. Affordability remains one of the biggest challenges facing home buyers. At the same time, rents aren't exactly cheap either. It's not uncommon to see renters paying $2,000 per month, $2,500 per month, or even $3,000 per month. And honestly, I've seen even worse. And that's one reason the rent versus buy conversation continues to come up. People are looking at what they're already paying every single month and wondering whether ownership makes sense for them. Now, I want to be really clear. Home ownership isn't automatically the right answer, but I do think it's important for buyers to understand their options. Because for one thing, affordability isn't just about purchase price, it's about the monthly payment, it's about your lifestyle, it's about your long-term goals, and also it's about understanding what you're actually getting for your money. One thing I tell buyers all the time is that affordability means different things to different people. For some people, affordability means the lowest monthly payment possible. And for others, affordability means finding the best long-term value. And for some others, it might mean maximizing your space, or choosing the best schools, or having the best location, or finding a place that has the best appreciation potential. That's why it's important to look beyond the headlines and understand what different budgets can actually buy in today's market. This is where I think the conversation gets really interesting, because affordability is relative. If you're comparing Portland to the Portland of 20 years ago, this Portland feels really expensive, and there's really no way around that. But if you're comparing Portland to Seattle, Portland often looks really affordable. If you're comparing Portland to the Bay Area, which I've lived in, Portland can look very affordable. And if you're comparing Portland to San Diego, Los Angeles, Orange County, Portland can still provide significantly more value for the money. I work with relocation buyers all the time who sell homes in California, and they are shocked by what their budgets can buy here. $1 million in certain California markets may buy you a small home, a fixer, a townhouse, maybe just a condo, or something that just needs a lot of work. And that same budget throughout much of the Portland metro area can buy a substantial detached home with a yard, sometimes a huge yard, sometimes brand new construction, and sometimes in highly rated school districts. That's one reason Portland continues attracting relocation buyers despite rising prices. Because while Portland may not feel affordable compared to Portland's past, it feels extremely affordable compared to other major West Coast markets. And that's a distinction I think a lot of people miss. Portland doesn't exist in a vacuum. People aren't just comparing Portland to Portland. They're comparing Portland to wherever they're coming from. And depending on where they're coming from, Portland can either feel really expensive or surprisingly affordable. How about we start with the budget range where a lot of first-time home buyers start their search, which is within the $200,000 to $300,000 range. At this price point, buyers are typically looking at condos, manufactured homes on owned land, and properties that need a lot of work. Now, that doesn't mean these homes are bad opportunities. In fact, for some buyers, this can be a fantastic entry point into home ownership. But it's important to understand the trade-offs. A lot of homes in this range may need updates. Maybe the kitchen hasn't been touched in 20 years. Maybe the bathrooms are dated. Maybe the flooring needs to be replaced. And oftentimes, maybe the roof is nearing the end of its life. And for buyers who are handy or comfortable taking on different types of projects, this can actually be a huge opportunity. Sometimes you can buy a home that scares away other buyers and slowly improve it over time. Another thing is that condos are also very common in this price range. And this is where I always encourage buyers to pay attention to more than just the purchase price. You may see a condo that's listed at $250,000, and that seems incredibly affordable. But then you look and you discover that there's a $500 HOA fee, or even a $600 HOA fee, or even higher depending on the building. Suddenly, that affordable condo isn't quite as affordable as it initially seemed. And that doesn't mean that condos are bad. In fact, many people have built substantial equity through condo ownership. But it's important to understand the complete monthly payment, not just the purchase price. As we move into the $300,000 to $400,000 range, our options start to open up considerably. This is where buyers start looking at nicer condos, newer townhouses, and then also some smaller detached homes depending on the location. And also, this is where many first-time buyer programs start to become incredibly important. For example, buyers may find opportunities through Portland's SDC exemption program. I've helped buyers purchase brand new construction homes through that program for significantly less than market rate for new construction. Some buyers may also qualify for programs like Proud Ground, and these homes operate differently than other traditional homes, but for qualifying buyers, they can provide an affordable pathway into home ownership. Also at this price range, you'll see a lot of townhomes becoming increasingly common. And honestly, many of today's townhouses are much nicer than people expect. They have modern layouts, energy efficient construction, attached garages, lower maintenance requirements, and often they're located near amenities and employment centers. The big trade-off with townhouses is that they're usually smaller lots, they have shared walls, and they have larger HOA dues. But for many buyers, those are reasonable compromises to get into home ownership. When we start moving into the $400,000 to $500,000 range, this is where many buyers begin seriously competing for detached homes. Now, you still see some townhouses in this range, but buyers are also beginning to see more single-family homes, which leads to more privacy and more flexibility. At the lower end of this range, many detached homes may still need some updates. You may find an older home with outdated finishes, or a home that needs cosmetic improvements. Or you might see a property where the previous owner has a lot of deferred maintenance. For buyers willing to put in some work, these can represent some of the best values in the market. One thing I always remind buyers is that a detached home doesn't automatically mean higher monthly cost. Sometimes a townhouse has a lower purchase price but carries a substantial HOA. Meanwhile, a detached home may have no HOA at all, or maybe even a small one, though I have seen some with large HOAs. And that's why I encourage buyers to focus on the total monthly ownership cost rather than just comparing sticker prices. As we move towards the upper end of this range, inventory expands significantly depending on location. Areas farther east, such as Troutdale, Fairview, Sandy, and parts of Gresham, often provide more opportunities in this budget range. And also, as we're looking on the Washington side, parts of Vancouver can still offer excellent value as well. For many buyers, this price range represents the transition from simply getting into the market to finding a home that can comfortably meet their needs for years to come. As we look in the $500,000 to $700,000 range, this is where the inventory really starts opening up. Buyers start seeing more detached homes, larger floor plans, houses in better school districts, larger lots, and significantly more new construction opportunities. And this is also where a lot of families are shopping. Areas like Hillsboro, Beaverton, Happy Valley, Vancouver, Ridgefield, and portions of Tigard become much more accessible. And for many buyers, this is where they stop making major compromises on what they want. Instead of choosing between location and space, they can often find homes that provide both. This is also where many new construction communities become realistic options. And that's important because new construction changes the affordability conversation in many ways that buyers don't realize. As we start to look from the range of $700,000 to $1 million, at this price point, buyers gain considerably more flexibility. You'll typically see larger homes, newer homes, houses on large lots, stronger school districts, and much wider selections of neighborhoods. Many buyers in this range are looking for homes that they can comfortably stay in for 10 years or more. In this range is also where you'll see a significant amount of move-up buyers. People who bought their first home years ago and now are leveraging accumulated equity into a larger property. Once we start looking over the $1 million mark, you're generally entering luxury territory. Areas like Lake Oswego, West Lynn, North Bethany, Camas, and luxury Vancouver neighborhoods and higher end portions of Happy Valley become much more common. And while these homes are certainly expensive, this is another area where Portland can still compare favorably to many West Coast markets. A $1 million home in Portland often looks a lot different than a $1 million home in the Bay Area. And that's one reason we continue to see relocation buyers move here every single year. One thing that gets overlooked in affordability discussions is the cost of renting. A lot of people assume renting is dramatically cheaper than owning. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. I personally regularly talk to renters paying $2,000 a month, sometimes even $2,500 a month, $3,000 a month, or even more. And at those payment levels, people naturally start asking a question. If I'm already paying this much, should I at least explore homeownership? Now, that doesn't mean that buying is automatically the right answer, but it does mean that it's worth looking at the numbers. Because sometimes buyers assume home ownership is completely out of reach, when in reality, there may be programs, incentives, or opportunities that they haven't considered yet. One thing I've noticed over the last several years is that buyers have become much more flexible about where they're willing to live. 10 or 15 years ago, many buyers would focus almost exclusively on the city of Portland itself. Today, many buyers are looking across the entire metro area and asking a different question. Instead of asking, where do I want to live? They're asking, where can I get the best value for my money? And that has changed the conversation dramatically. If you look on the west side, many buyers are continuing to find value in places like Hillsboro, Forest Grove, Cornelius, and Tualatin. Hillsboro continues to attract buyers because of the job market, proximity to Intel, growing amenities, and substantial new construction opportunities. Forest Grove and Cornelius offer buyers the opportunity to get more house for their money while still remaining connected to the Portland metro area. Tualatin often gets overlooked, but it provides a central location, good access to employment centers, and a variety of housing options. And as we look to the east, many buyers are discovering communities like Troutdale, Fairview, Sandy, and parts of Gresham. Troutdale and Fairview continues to appeal to buyers who want access to the gorge while maintaining reasonable commutes. And the city of Sandy attracts people looking for larger lots, more space, and a lifestyle that feels a little bit less urban. Many buyers are willing to accept a slightly longer drive if that means getting significantly more house. If we look further south, communities like Woodburn and Salem continue to attract buyers focused on affordability. For buyers who don't need to be in Portland every day, these areas can provide opportunities that are increasingly difficult to find closer to the city. And then, of course, there's Southwest Washington. Vancouver remains one of the fastest growing areas in the region, and the city of Ridgefield continues seeing tremendous growth through both new construction and relocation demand. Washougal appeals to buyers looking for a combination of newer housing, outdoor recreation, and access to the gorge. The common theme in all of these areas is simple. Buyers are increasingly willing to trade a slightly longer commute for more space, newer homes, larger lots, and better overall value. And honestly, that's always been part of the story of a growing metro area. As cities become more and more expensive, development pushes outward, and the Portland metro area is no different. Now let's talk about what I think is one of the most overlooked affordability opportunities in today's market, and it's new construction. A lot of people immediately assume new construction is a lot more expensive than resale homes. And if you're only looking at the listed sticker price, that can sometimes appear to be true. But once you start looking at the entire financial picture, things become a lot more interesting. And one of the big reasons for that is builder incentives. Just a few years ago, builders didn't have to offer that much. Our inventory was limited, demand was incredibly strong, and buyers had little to no leverage at all. And today, that has all changed. Many builders are offering substantial incentives. I've personally worked with buyers receiving incentive packages worth tens of thousands of dollars. And it's not uncommon to see incentives equal to 3 or 4% of the purchase price. Think about what that means. On a $600,000 home, that's potentially $18,000 to $24,000 they can use for closing costs or a rate buy down. On a $750,000 home, you're potentially looking at $22,000 to $30,000. Those funds can often be used towards permanent rate buy downs, temporary rate buy downs, closing costs, appliances, blinds, landscaping, and design center upgrades. The reason rate buy downs matter so much is because many buyers focus exclusively on the purchase price. But affordability is really about the monthly payment. A builder may not reduce the sales price significantly. However, they may be willing to help you lower your interest rate. And a lower interest rate can save you hundreds of dollars every single month. And that's why I always encourage buyers to compare monthly payments rather than just comparing purchase price. Another thing many buyers appreciate about new construction is that major systems are brand new. You'll have a brand new roof. You'll have a brand new HVAC system. You'll have brand new plumbing, new electrical, new appliances, modern energy efficient standards. But that doesn't mean that you're gonna skip your inspections. I still recommend inspections on new construction. But many buyers like knowing that they aren't immediately budgeting for a roof replacement or a furnace replacement right after you move in. Areas like Reed's Crossing, North Bethany, Happy Valley, Ridgefield, Washington, Vancouver, Washington, and Camas continue offering strong new construction opportunities. And when you combine builder incentives with modern construction and reduced maintenance concerns, new construction often becomes one of the strongest values in today's market. One thing that I think gets lost in affordability conversations is the value people receive in exchange for their housing costs. Because affordability isn't just about the mortgage, it's also about your quality of life. Portland still offers some incredible advantages. Within roughly 90 minutes, you can be at the Oregon coast, you can be skiing on Mount Hood, you can be hiking in the Columbia River Gorge, you can go mountain biking, you can go fishing, kayaking, camping, and that's something many larger metropolitan areas simply can't offer. Also in Oregon, we have no sales tax. And while that may not seem like a huge deal at first, over time, it absolutely adds up. And also, Portland's food scene continues to be one of the strongest in the country. Our coffee scene remains excellent, and we have tons of breweries in the region. And we have such variety of neighborhoods that means people can often find a lifestyle that matches exactly what they're looking for. Some people want homes that have a lot of walkability. Some people want a little bit more of a suburban living style. Some people want more acreage. Some people want new homes. And the best thing is you can find all those options within the broader Portland metro area. That's one reason people continue moving here despite rising costs. They aren't just buying a home, they're buying a lifestyle. The biggest affordability mistake I see buyers make is focusing entirely on the purchase price. Affordability is much more complicated than that. Property taxes matter, your insurance price matters, your HOA dues matter, your utilities matter, maintenance matters, transportation costs definitely matter, and also your quality of life matters. A cheaper house with a brutal commute may not actually improve your financial situation. Spending 2 hours a day in traffic has a cost. A slightly more expensive home in a better location may provide a drastically better experience. And that's why I always encourage buyers to look at the complete picture and not just the purchase price. So let's go back to the original question. Is Portland affordable anymore? My answer is yes and no. For many longtime residents, Portland feels dramatically less affordable than it did 10 or 20 years ago. And that is absolutely true. I can tell you that our housing costs have increased, our rent has increased, the cost of living has increased, and there's no denying that. But compared to many West Coast cities, Portland remains one of the more attainable large metropolitan areas. It's definitely not cheap, and it's not the hidden bargain that it once was. But it's also not San Francisco, it's not San Jose, it's not Los Angeles, it's not Orange County, and it's not Seattle. And that's one reason people continue relocating here every single year. For many buyers, Portland still represents an opportunity to enjoy a strong quality of life at a lower cost than many competing markets. The answer ultimately depends on who you are, where you're coming from, and what you're comparing Portland against. So, if you're thinking about moving to Portland, relocating to Southwest Washington, buying a home, investing, or you're simply just trying to understand what your budget can realistically buy in today's market, I'd be happy to help. You can call or text me at 971-285-2002, or you can email me at steven@diverserg.com. And also, if you found this video helpful, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share it with someone who's considering a move to Oregon or Southwest Washington. And also, please let me know in the comments, do you think Portland is still affordable, or has it become too expensive for your tastes? I'd love to hear your perspective. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.